School bells will be ringing again in the early hours of Monday morning. The much contested move to reopen schools on the 1st of June was finally resolved by the Department of Basic Education, teacher unions and school governing bodies. The 8th of June is finally cast in stone.
There's not even one province now that is high risk, and they've improved to medium risk. And you will note that different provinces are at different stages depending on a number of factors that are there. Some of them, as I said earlier, equipments were being blocked on their way to schools by people who really wanted to have had an opportunity to provide services to the department, and that interfered greatly with the readiness of other provinces.
Motshekga says a number of factors contributed to the unpreparedness of some schools. These include vandalism of over 1,600 schools, the interference with the deliveries of essentials, water and sanitation, and faulty thermometers.
We can say with confidence that about 95% of our schools have been ably provided with all the necessary COVID-19 imperatives. For the remaining 5% or so of learners, alternative measures have been developed by different districts and provinces. Some of them include using neighboring schools, using underutilized spaces, for instance, in boarding schools, and putting other learners in camps just to make sure, as I said, indeed, no learner must be left behind.
Provisions will be made for schools not ready to open, as well as learners who are wary of going back to school.
Parents who are anxious to send their kids, we have a few proposals which have been tabled before us as CM. We're considering those proposals. In a very short space of time, we will be able to respond and say what should parents do if they are unable to send their children, not only for underlying health challenges, but if it's also just pure anxiety about sending children to school.
Rand Water gave details of the progress they've made in mitigating water and sanitation issues.
Of the 2,634 tanks, that is the storage capability or capacity that was requested from us from this program, we managed to supply 2,443 tanks. Those tanks, essentially, most of them as well, will cover for the rest of the schools as we progressively go back to schools and reopen and let the learners of the other grades to really start learning.
The Basic Education Ministry is in the process of revising the 2020 academic year in accordance with the new norms. The phased reopening of schools for grades 7s and 12s will be followed by a cluster of grades on the 6th of July. The last group will return on the 3rd of August. Nosipho Mncube, SABC News, Johannesburg.